What's up, guys? Mickle here. And if you thought the cryptocurrency space got a little boring over the last couple of weeks, you better get ready because things are about to get absolutely crazy. We have the SEC about to go on a rampage, cracking down on as many cryptocurrency companies as possible. In this video, we're going to go over a brand new case that they just settled with Kraken, go over the implications from that case on the entire crypto industry, as well as go over some brand new cases that are about to get dropped that are right around the corner. We're also going to go over a statement from Brad Garlinghouse and Ripple about what is happening right now in the United States and why a settlement in the Ripple SEC case right now might be more likely than ever before. Make sure to stick around to the end of the video to see that. You are not going to want to miss it. Like always, guys, your support means so much to this channel. If you want to see more videos just like this, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button down below and turn on bell notifications. These three simple things are going to go such a long way in helping this channel grow, and it really does mean so much to me. If you guys ever need a good place to buy some XRP or the Flare token, make sure to check out my favorite exchange, Uphold, down in the description of this video. With that said though, let's jump right into it, and I hope you guys enjoy the content. So like I said in the intro, things are about to get absolutely wild in the cryptocurrency space. The SEC is about to go on an all-out rampage and try to shut down as many crypto products as possible. I want to go over who they're going to go after next and what just happened with them and Kraken, because we actually got a very interesting development where the SEC hit Kraken hard, but I also want to talk about why it might not be as bad as many people are saying on the surface. Towards the end of the video, though, I want to transition and talk about why I think this could actually be good for a Ripple versus SEC settlement. There are some very key things we need to talk about on how the SEC's rampage against crypto could be stalled if they don't settle with Ripple, so make sure to stick around to the end to see that. Let's start this video off though and go over a tweet from Eleanor Terrett, because she has really been spot on in forecasting each one of the SEC's moves. It looks like she really does have a source on the inside of the SEC, because almost every single time she has come out with a scoop or a prediction on what the SEC is going to do next, it has been very accurate. So earlier today, she said, "Scoop, Gary Gensler is embarking on a midnight massacre in an attempt to bring all crypto under his control. In the coming weeks, the SEC and other organizations will be bringing a myriad of enforcement actions against exchanges, banks, and entities that mint tokens in an attempt to label the majority of them as securities. I'm told Gary Gensler's strategy is to bring as many enforcement actions as possible while the 118th Congress is still getting its bearings." So essentially what Gary Gensler is doing here is he understands that the new Congress is going to try to slow him down in taking control of the cryptocurrency market. So Gary Gensler and some other organizations are about to launch as many cases as possible in order to try to jam the cryptocurrency space into the SEC's jurisdiction. So we actually got the start of this rampage against crypto earlier today, with the SEC actually suing Kraken. Now, the SEC was only going after Kraken Staking, and essentially what Kraken is doing now is they are saying we will no longer allow any staking in the United States. So overall, this is a massive loss, because honestly, I really like the features of staking on exchanges. It's nice and easy. You don't have to make any transfers to external wallets. You don't have to mess with any smart contracts. And as long as you don't keep a ton of money on the exchanges, it's nice just to have some there to kind of diversify where you hold your crypto. But it looks like the SEC is cracking down on this. They're trying to call all staking on these exchanges securities. Now, while this sounds pretty bad on the surface, I don't think it's as bad as a lot of people are going to make it out to be for two main reasons. One, it doesn't seem like the SEC can really stop us from staking on our own. The SEC can only stop exchanges from staking, so while this kind of does stink because it gets rid of some of the convenience of having these exchanges stake your crypto for you, it's definitely not an end to staking or anything like that. Another thing that is very important to consider, and this was pointed out by Jake Chervinsky, settlements are not law. They're a decision that the economics of settling are better than fighting, no more. The SEC thinks staking as a service is a security. Kraken didn't admit or deny either way. It may be a tough question, but the SEC hasn't answered it either way today. So what Jake is pointing out here is actually very important. Kraken didn't actually ever admit that its staking product was a security. They just said they would stop. They didn't admit to anything. They didn't deny anything. They just said, we'll stop our staking as a service. This means that this was not some decision that the SEC is going to be able to use and say, hey, look, Kraken admitted that their staking was a security, therefore every other cryptocurrency exchange in the United States has to stop staking. Now, a lot of them might stop staking because they don't want this same thing to happen to them. But it's important to point out the difference here. It's also important to point out that he says staking as a service. This means that the SEC right now is only going after exchanges staking your tokens for you. They're not going after you staking your own tokens. This is important to point out because as the SEC ramps up their crypto cases, we need to make sure that we actually keep track of what the SEC has won on. Right here, this seems to be very Kraken specific. They didn't win a determination on what Kraken staking was, they just got a determination from Kraken that they would stop their staking. Nothing was admitted that staking was a security, so really this just hurts Kraken, it hurts retail users, but it's not a huge loss for crypto. Now, Eleanor Terra actually tweeted out another case that it looks like the SEC is getting ready to bring, and that is against Paxos. Now, this is pretty interesting because this is a direct shot at a stablecoin, and I heard the SEC could actually be looking to go after Circle as well. So it looks like now the SEC is also trying to jam stablecoins into this jurisdiction. So if you zoom out and take a look at what's going on here, the SEC is trying to get the crypto tokens itself under their jurisdiction with the XRP case. They're also trying to get exchanges under their jurisdiction, which we are seeing with Kraken and Coinbase. Now what we are seeing right here is the SEC is also trying to get stablecoins, and this just goes back to what Eleanor Terra tweeted out in the beginning. The SEC is going to sue as many different cryptocurrency companies as possible to try to get the entire industry under their jurisdiction. Now, Brad Garlinghouse actually jumped in and responded to this, and he said, yes, it sucks what's happening in the United States, but countries all around the world are providing the clarity we need to run our business. He said Dubai, Australia, the UK, South Korea, and Brazil are all providing guidance to allow cryptocurrency companies to operate within the law. Cryptocurrency companies are not looking to dodge regulation. They are looking to be given regulation so they can abide by the law. Eventually, guys, the US is going to be forced to capitulate here. They're not going to be able to keep going around and suing every single company that tries to incorporate in the United States, or they are going to drive off the innovation. Right now, we see the SEC playing hardball. We see them doing regulation by enforcement and cracking down on this space, but eventually they will go too far and they are going to be told to stop. What Brad Garlinghouse is telling us is eventually the US is going to fall so far behind that they will be forced to capitulate. So although it sucks to see the SEC ramping up these enforcement actions, at least we are seeing the rest of the world moving forward, and that just means eventually the US is going to have to follow suit. Now, I wanted to finish this video off and talk about how this massive amount of enforcement actions coming down the road to cryptocurrency companies all over the industry is actually going to be beneficial for Ripple. And the first thing I want to talk about before I talk about a settlement is the fact that I really do think this makes the chance that the SEC appeals the decision in the Ripple SEC case a lot less likely. It looks like the SEC is going to be devoting a lot of its resources to different cryptocurrency cases, and it really makes me think that if the SEC loses the Ripple case, they'll say, okay, so be it. We have all these other cases to get cryptocurrency under our jurisdiction. I think ultimately they're just not going to pay any more attention to Ripple, and if they were, they would really be holding out some of their resources for fighting the next battle against Ripple. Instead, they seem a lot more determined to pick off the low-hanging fruit, and ultimately, I do think that is good news. I want to also talk about, though, why I think it makes a settlement a lot more likely. First, I want to talk about why a settlement is more likely, and then go into the reasons why a settlement would be so beneficial for Ripple. And this is actually outlined just today by Attorney Bill. So the reason why I think this makes a settlement more likely is because the SEC is now desperately looking for wins. For the SEC to convince all the other regulators in the United States that crypto is their jurisdiction, they cannot afford to take a loss on the status of XRP. Attorney Bill tweeted out, the SEC obtains a lot from a settlement with Ripple, even if the settlement allows for XRP not to be considered a security and sold by Ripple. So that means Bill sees the potential for the SEC to actually settle with Ripple, even if they say that XRP is not a security, not even the XRP sold for Ripple. He said, 1, it would amount to a big fine, 2, an outcome that justifies the lawsuit, 3, no disclosure of the Hinman emails, 4, no adverse decision on fair notice, 5, perhaps the most important, no decision on the blue sky investment contract issue. As we saw this week, this argument has been made for a second time by the defendants in SEC versus Wahai. Imagine if Ripple wins on this point. So what Attorney Bill is saying here is that Ripple actually brought an argument to the court, which is the blue sky laws, and I can't explain that in this video. It's super complex, but essentially if the SEC loses this case against Ripple, it would be so devastating for the SEC's crypto ambitions. The SEC would be putting all their hopes and dreams to regulate the crypto industry all on this one case that is looking terrible for them. It seems like Attorney Bill and I both agree that for the SEC, it makes a lot more sense for them to just admit, hey, XRP is not a security, Ripple, only you win, but we're going to keep going after the rest of the cryptocurrency industry, and because we settled with you, we can now do that. Now, who knows what the SEC is going to do? The SEC has proven that they are a wild card. They'll do things that make no sense. So do I think this means the SEC is going to settle? Who knows? We're going to have to wait and see. Even if they don't, we should have a decision in the Ripple SEC case end of February, end of March. We're likely coming close. And I want to finish this video off and just quickly point something out. For a while, these sunshine meetings didn't seem to be anything. We would get almost no news out of them. But for the next couple months, I think we're going to have to watch these very closely because as Eleanor tweeted out, the SEC is looking to start a midnight massacre, going after every cryptocurrency company they can. We got a big announcement today on a Thursday after one of these meetings. So let's keep our eyes on every single one of these. Let's see what else the SEC has in store. And let's hope this means the beginning of the end to the Ripple case. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for coming. I hope you enjoyed this update. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe. It really does mean so much. And for now, Mickle out.